our geneticists, and you're going to have one, so am I, are going to be able to identify for the first time the needle in the haystack. They're going to be able to identify which genes in our genomes have mutated. In other words, they've developed a programming error. And now with CRISPR gene editing, following it up, we're going to be able to correct those programming errors. It's going to be incredible to catch cancer in stage 1 and then edit it away. We think that's going to be possible in the next 5 to 10 years, and probably sooner than that. So that's real impact.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So I don't know if I've told you guys, but I'm planning on living long enough to live forever. Now I know a few of you right now are thinking, holy crap, this dude is absolutely insane. What a weirdo. Well, both of those are true, but have nothing to do with the statement I've just made. I genuinely believe this is a realistic possibility for someone of my age who isn't doing everything he possibly can to destroy his health. There's a reason I'm not a fat piece of shit. This is a conscious decision. I've been very actively focused on eating good things and doing what I need to make sure that I live an optimum healthy lifestyle to the best of my knowledge and ability based on the available information at the time, so I can get as far into the future as I possibly can. There will come a point, at some point in the future, at least theoretically, longevity escape velocity, where medicine technology is actually adding more than 1 year of human lifespan to the human life every year. The next 2 decades will usher in an absolute revolution, a complete transformation of healthcare, disease and aging at the hands of the genomic revolution. I'm super excited about this on a personal level. The amount of good, positive impact in the world will just be phenomenal from this technology. But from an investment point of view, I also see enormous potential. So in this video, I'm going to react to some clips of Cathie Wood sharing some of her insights and thoughts around genomics, and I'll also share some details about an investment I've made in the genomic space in the stock market. So let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you live in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 4 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 2 free stocks between $2.50 and $250 each just for opening an account. And if you deposit $100, you'll get a further 2 free stocks valued between $8 and $1,600 each. That is an obnoxiously good return on your investment. I mean, really, deposit $100 and you'll end up with, at minimum, $21 worth of stocks, a 21% ROI on your money. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it. So I'm going to play a couple of clips from recent Cathie Wood interviews, one just a week or so ago and one in 2019, just over 1 year ago. After that, I'll share some details about the stock investment I've made in the genomic space.
If I look backward, as you well know, Tesla accounts for almost a fifth of the return that you have generated in that 5-year time span. Which of your current holdings, Cathie, do you think will supply the biggest lift in the next 5 years?
Tesla's still in the running, but I would have to say the biggest upside surprises are going to come from the genomic space. And that's because the convergence of DNA sequencing, artificial intelligence, and gene therapies, importantly CRISPR gene editing, are going to cure disease. That convergence is going to cure disease. Now we have real science and technology surfacing the mutations in our genomic profile. And as they surface those mutations, what do we see? We see the earliest manifestations of disease. And now, with the combination of artificial intelligence and gene editing, we're able to both anticipate diseases and cure them potentially. Beta thalassemia, we're seeing it, sickle cell disease. We even think it will work in diabetes, which is where most if you look at the largest category of spending year to year in healthcare, it's diabetes.
I wholeheartedly agree with Cathie here. A little bit of homework for you guys and girls watching who are a little bit unsure about this whole genomics thing. Please get at least an overall understanding of these 3 core technologies that are currently converging that I and Cathie and many others believe are going to be the catalyst for an absolute revolution in healthcare, human longevity and well-being. DNA sequencing, artificial intelligence, and gene therapy. That's your homework if you really want to get an understanding on the opportunity and the technology that's driving this forward.
What we are looking for in terms of impact is figuring out, have costs associated with one of these platforms drop to a low enough level that they're going to unleash waves of demand and get us into that exponential growth curve. So whether DNA sequencing, we're there. To give you an example, DNA sequencing costs now are below $1,000. Last year, the number of whole human genomes sequenced around the world was 2.4 million. That was half of all the whole human genomes ever sequenced in history. So we're already at the tipping point, and we believe that number is going to go to 100. So that's almost a 40-fold increase in the next 5 years. So that is truly exponential growth.
Being an enormous science nerd, I became fascinated with the human genome probably 2 decades ago. I read Genome by Matt Ridley and absolutely had my mind blown. And since then, I've been astonished at the declining cost to actually sequence a human genome. In fact, I had my own DNA genotyped, which is not the same thing as fully sequencing a human genome. I won't bore you with the details on that. Jump online and Google the difference if you're interested. Years ago, about 2013 or so. Let me show you some of the useful information that I discovered about myself. By the way, you can't get this information via 23andMe anymore. The FDA got butthurt. They're not allowed to provide this, but I had this done early enough that I was able to access information, download and archive this, so lucky me. Anyway, I discovered that I have an increased sensitivity to pain, and I can confirm this. Quick story, once I shattered a number of bones in my foot, and guess what happened? I passed out from the pain and woke up in even more pain after hitting my head on the way down as well, double whammy.
And it is going to change healthcare decision making. It's bringing real science into healthcare decision making for the first time. So our geneticists, and you're going to have one, so am I, are going to be able to identify for the first time the needle in the haystack. They're going to be able to identify which genes in our genomes have mutated. In other words, they've developed a programming error. And now with CRISPR gene editing, following it up, we're going to be able to correct those programming errors. It's going to be incredible to catch cancer in stage 1 and then edit it away. We think that's going to be possible in the next 5 to 10 years, and probably sooner than that. So that's real impact.
So we're almost creating these superhumans.
Well, longevity, yes, human lives will be extended, but the quality of human life is going to improve dramatically if we're able to move away from treating cancer as a chronic condition, and that's where we've been going recently, but to actually correct whatever the mutation that has taken place very early on, that's going to be huge. In fact, last week there was a journal of New England, the New England Journal of Medicine published a report on a man with leukemia whose leukemia after CRISPR gene editing has disappeared, and 19 months later it still has not returned. So that was, you know, that's a pretty complicated cancer, and we've gotten some of the heavyweights in the gene editing community to say, wow. So we may be closer to this than many people believe.
I mean, did you guys hear that? We really are at the cusp of an enormous disruptive transformation in healthcare and longevity.
If I had told you or any investor in the late 90s that there were going to be 3 companies with the foundational patents behind CRISPR, Cas9, which is the most advanced gene editing flavor, I'll say, these days. And I had told you these companies are going to cure diseases that have been the scourge of human existence, right? They're going to be able to cure pediatric blindness or cancer, as I mentioned before. My guess in the late 90s, when investors were chasing dreams and too much capital chased too few opportunities too soon, that those 3 companies would have accumulated in market cap to roughly $200 to $300 billion in market cap, right? They would have, because they'd get a royalty on every therapeutic that was going to be developed. And today we think the recurring revenue base in terms of the therapies just for single gene caused diseases, we think that's a recurring revenue base of 75 billion. They'd get 10% of that. Single genes are responsible for only 2% of all diseases. That's just the beginning. So the idea of $200 to $300 billion, certainly in the bubble, easy. Today, those three stocks in the market together can't even reach $5 billion in market cap. Now think about it. Apple is a $1 trillion market cap company, and it's changed our lives, and we love our Apple phones and AirPods and watches. But Apple is not curing cancer. It's not curing disease. These companies, we believe, will, but there's so much fear in the marketplace, and there are all kinds of reasons to avoid them. The cap is too small, or which is the kind of circular reasoning. The cap is too small, or they've just entered human trials. I'll wait to see what happens. Well, that'll be too late if these human trials are successful. One of the first one being pediatric blindness. A baby born blind, you correct that programming error, the baby can see. It works in mice, it works in non-human primates. If it works in human beings, think about what the reaction will be. Well, we'd prefer to be in the stocks before that reaction.
What a perfect segue into why I have now invested in the ARK Genomics fund. I began my position on the 9th of November 2020, so call it almost 2 months ago. I've since finished accumulating. That's a combination of being long ARKG, the ARK Genomics ETF, so I have some money in that stock, that ETF. I also have some options in play as well, which are not investing, okay? The investment is in the ARK Genomics fund. However, I'm also making a bet. I'm in the casino and I have some options as well on the ARK Genomics fund. This is high risk, potentially high reward. And the reason that I've established this position, as Cathie was alluding to, this transformation is happening. The markets have yet to fully recognize the value of this opportunity. And I personally have done my homework. I haven't been able to find a particular company that stands out, that really makes me want to invest in that specific company. I have trust in Cathie and her team to competently manage my money, so to speak, in the genomic space and capture reasonable amounts of that growth in the value without me personally having to pick a specific winner. Now, over time, I'm going to continue to look into this and learn. At this point in time, no opportunity has stood out to me enough for me to say, all right, I'm happy and confident enough to put money into this specific company. Hence, I'm taking the lazy/easy path for now and putting the money in the hands of ARK. That's definitely better than leaving it sitting in a bank account or wasting away. So my total investment in the genomics space as a percent of my net assets, which is including my stocks and also my real estate equity, is around 2% of my net assets in total. So I'm not exactly betting the farm on this one. Another way to look at that, it's probably around 1 to 2 months of my income. I'd like to leave you guys with a little bit of food for thought and a prediction. I love to be accountable. Now, I don't have an extreme level of certainty on this, but I feel pretty confident that there's a better than even chance that the growth on the ARK Genomics fund over the next 5 years, the annualized rate of growth, will exceed that of Tesla stock. Now, I could be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I own plenty of Tesla, but I'm pretty confident in this call because the way that ARK manage their capital, they're fully invested at all times. They're likely to capture huge amounts of this upside growth potential. And I believe that the market capitalizations of the largest genomic companies in the next 5 years or so will reach trillions of dollars. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but guess what? Even if I am wrong, it's not going to be a matter of being wrong about the outcome, just the timing. I can all but guarantee you guys that by the 2030s, there's going to be trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of market capitalization created in the genomic space on the back of DNA sequencing, artificial intelligence, and gene therapies. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in genomics, if you're excited about genomics, and of course, if you've invested in any genomics stocks. And just finally, I posted this video intentionally outside of market hours. In fact, there's 3 days of market close through the Christmas break and then the weekend because I don't want anybody to go out and buy this stock or buy this ETF or get these options just because I did. I really want you guys and girls to think for yourselves, make your own decisions. I'm just planting the seed here. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's really become apparent to me now that we're at the tipping point of something enormous, and I would like to participate in some of that upside growth. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you live in the US and you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 4 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 2 free stocks between $2.50 and $250 each just for opening an account. And if you deposit $100, you'll get a further 2 free stocks valued between $8 and $1,600 each. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. PS, if you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.